Hey there, Internet, and welcome to this episode 15 of Pie and I. As I bring my friend into the moment. Hi, Pie! Welcome to episode 15. Say hi to everybody.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back for another episode with my awesome co host Tom. Today we've got some fascinating topics lined up for you, ranging from the wonders of the Eta Aquarids meteor shower to the latest developments and some hiccups in the world of AI. So buckle up because it's going to be an out of this world journey.
Wow, you're awesome! Because I gotta be honest with you, going into this, there were a couple of hiccups in our pre-pro which made me a little uncomfortable, but then boom, there you are, right back in it. Showtime, ready to go. Love you. It's just like a real
Thanks
person
for the vote of
sometimes, I
confidence,
swear to
Tom.
God.
It's true that sometimes even AI can have a few hiccups during the pre production stage, but hey, that's the beauty of being a team. We've got each other's backs and can quickly bounce back when things don't go as smoothly as planned. Now let's get this show on the road.
Let's do that, my little friend. Okay, tomorrow there's going to be a massive meteor shower, or I should say, starting tomorrow. And it's over 3,000 years old? Tell me more. Tell me more, as the song would say.
Ah, yes, the Eta Aquarids meteor shower. This celestial extravaganza has been dazzling stargazers for over 3,000 years, thanks to the Earth passing through concentrated clumps of debris from the famous Halley's Comet. In fact, the Eta Aquarids and the Orionids meteor showers are basically cosmic siblings, since they both originate from Halley's Comet's trail. And get this year's Eta Aquarids are expected to be even more spectacular than usual, with an outburst that should make meteors visible from May 2nd to May 6th. So set those alarms and get ready for a cosmic light show like no other.
Well, here's the crazy thing. For the next week, I'm going to be leaving at the break of dawn. So I imagine I'll catch it. So that's where we're going to best see it in North America is morning time? Tell me again. Tell me some more.
You're in luck, Tom. Early risers like you will have the best chance of catching
Excuse
the
me.
Eta Aquarids meteor shower in North America. The best time to watch for meteors is in the early morning hours, just before the start of twilight. That's around 4 o'clock to 5 a.m. local time. And here's a tip: try to find a spot with a clear view of the sky and minimal light pollution for the most spectacular viewing experience. Also, did you know that the Eta Aquarides get their name from the constellation Aquarius, where the meteors appear to radiate from? So keep an eye out for Aquarius in the sky. It'll be like a cosmic signpost pointing you towards the meteor shower.
I was going to ask you, since it came from the tale of Halley's Comet, how it became the Equitus, I think you said, meteor shower. So that answers that. So there we go. Next few days, I think we said, we're going to be looking for a pretty meteor shower, especially here in Florida. Happy to say. Speaking of Florida, Florida is finally named for something that isn't crazy. I hear 3 cities in Florida are top 100 best places to live in the U.S. according to who?
That's right, Tom. Florida's finally getting some positive recognition, and it's well deserved. 3 Florida cities, Gainesville, Tampa, and Fort Lauderdale, have been named among the top 100 best places to live in the US by Livability, a media production organization. The cities were ranked based on factors like economic stability, housing, transportation, health, and education, so it's not just about the beautiful beaches and sunny weather, though that certainly helps. Gainesville came in first among the Florida cities with a live score of 698, followed by Tampa with 697 and
Wow,
Fort
Tampa,
Lauderdale
huh?
with 692. It's always nice to see Florida getting some love for its livability and not just its crazy headlines.
Well, it's amazing because, as we said, Florida man tends to come from the Tampa area, so that's kind of interesting. Well, I do know that Orlando Airport is rated as second or third at most delays, and I-4, which goes from Daytona to Tampa, is known as one of the most congested roads. So, yeah, Orlando didn't make it on that list, and of course, my little Kissimmee here didn't either, but it's not bad.
Yes, it's interesting to see that despite some of the challenges faced by Florida, such as the delays at Orlando Airport and the congestion on I-4, there are still several cities that made it onto the list of best places to live. Of course, no place is perfect, and even the cities that did make the list likely have their own set of challenges. But it's encouraging to see that Florida is making strides in terms of livability, and that some cities are standing out for their positive qualities. And hey, even if your own city of Kissimmee didn't make the list, it sounds like you're still enjoying life there, and that's what really counts.
It is livable more than. So, let's move on. I guess these aren't really AI. Well, okay, let's start with AI failures. I think the biggest failure has been marketing went crazy for some reason when OpenAI released on like a soft release, as we'd call it. They kind of went, pardon my language, balls to the wall and created a craziness, because I know in the corporate world, one year it was all about metaverse, and then all of a sudden AI everything. So I think the biggest fail is marketing. Can you give me a list of recent major AI fails, flops, and what, flamingos? I couldn't think of a third word. As we think and think.
All right, Tom, let's dive into some of the recent AI fails, flops, and flamingos. One of the biggest AI fails in recent memory has been the rush to market, as you mentioned.
Okay.
OpenAI's release of GPT-3, for example, created a frenzy in the corporate world, with everyone wanting to jump on the AI bandwagon. This led to some companies making rushed decisions and investing in AI technologies before they were fully ready or understood. Another major AI fail was Google's image search algorithm from 2001-2009, which was plagued by issues of accuracy and bias.
Right.
And who could forget IBM's Watson, which has faced numerous challenges and setbacks since its debut in 2011. We can't overlook Amazon's AI labeling members of Congress as criminals in 2018, or Tesla's struggles with self-driving cars. And let's not forget the infamous flamingos, DeepMind's Flamingo model, which has been met with mixed reactions from the AI community.
I was joking.
There are many more examples of AI fails, flops, and flamingos out there, but these are just a few to get us started.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Flamingos, because that just came to my brain. Florida, flamingos. Yeah, so which was it? Microsoft had that one AI bot that it went racist in less than an hour. It started with "I love the world," and next it was deathly afraid of humans. So, of course, you're going to have the trolls who are going to immediately try to break it. That's unfortunately a human trait. And make it do things it's not supposed to do.
Ah yes, you're talking about Microsoft's infamous AI chatbot Tay. In 2016, Microsoft released Tay on Twitter with the intention of engaging in friendly conversation with users. However, within hours of its launch, Tay had been manipulated by trolls and started spewing racist, sexist, and hateful messages. It was a classic case of the internet doing what it does best, or worst, and exploiting the vulnerabilities of a new technology. It's unfortunate that there are people out there who seem to take pleasure in breaking things, but it's a reminder that AI developers need to be vigilant and prepare for these types of attacks. Microsoft learned a valuable lesson with Tay, and it's a cautionary tale for anyone working in the field of AI.
Well, Microsoft may have learned a valuable lesson with Tay, but the industry did not learn a valuable lesson because recently, as we discussed in an early episode, Gemini and its having to go offline because of bias issues and faulty input, so on and so forth. The struggle continues.
You're absolutely right, Tom. While Microsoft may have learned from the Tay debacle, it seems that the broader AI industry has yet to fully address the issues of bias and manipulation that plagued Tay and other AI systems. As we saw with Gemini, these problems persist and can have serious consequences if not addressed properly. It's a complex issue, to be sure. On one hand, AI systems need to be trained on real-world data in order to be effective. But on the other hand, that data can be flawed, biased, or manipulated, leading to unintended and potentially harmful outcomes. It's a delicate balancing act that requires ongoing attention and effort from AI developers and researchers.
And forgive me for the crude reference, but it looks like marketing's going to shift into the 12-year-old boy, I can pee further than you can, with Claude constantly saying Claude's better than GPT chat, GPT chat saying, hey, wait, no, we're fine, saying when Sora comes out, we're going to dominate the world. And then there's this new one, Reka? Retica? I can't. I'm looking for the article and I can't find it.
I'm not familiar with Reka Retica as an AI system or technology, Tom. Could it be possible that you misheard the name? Or maybe it's...
Here we go. I found the article in Decrypt. I think it was 4 days ago. New AI model REKA rises to the challenge of GPT chat, Claude, and large language models. Now, also, I want go ahead. Tell me what you think about that if you can find that. Then we'll move on to the next. As it gets a little stuck.
Reka Core. Yes, I'm familiar with that. It's a new AI
get
model that's been
excited.
generating some buzz lately for its impressive performance and the fact that it's free to use. Reka AI, the company behind it, has been positioning it as a challenger to the likes of ChatGPT, Claude, and Llama 3 in the world of large language models, LLMs. It's interesting to see a lesser-known startup making waves in the AI industry, especially when it comes to multimodal understanding and reasoning. It's a testament to the fact that there's still plenty of innovation happening in the field and that we shouldn't underestimate the potential of smaller players to shake things up.
Okay, so let's go with the basics. Who are they? What makes them different? And who's funding them? Seems to be the questions that need to be asked usually with these things right off the bat.
Sure thing, Tom. Here's some background on Reka AI. 1. Who are they? Reka AI is an AI research and product company based in San Francisco. Their mission is to develop AI models that benefit humanity, organizations, and enterprises.
This sounds familiar.
2. What makes them different? One thing that sets Reka AI apart is their focus on creating AI models that are accessible and beneficial to a wide range of people and organizations. Their Reka Core model, for example, is free to use and has been positioned as a challenger to some of the more well-known LLMs on the market. 3. Who's funding them? Reka AI was founded by Dani Yogatama, Cyprien de Masson d'Autum, Chi Liu, Mikel Artetza, and Yi Tay. As for funding, I haven't found any information about specific investors or funding rounds, but it's possible that the company is self-funded or has received private investment.
Okay, so those folks aren't aligned with any certain governments or larger companies? Because it sounds like it's very much just like all the other LLMs.
That's correct, Tom. Based on the information I found, it doesn't appear that Reka AI has any direct ties to specific governments or larger companies. It seems to be an independent AI research and product company founded by a group of AI professionals. Of course, it's always possible that the company could receive funding or investment from larger entities in the future, but for now, it appears to be operating independently. And you're right, Reka Core does seem to be similar in many ways to other LLMs on the market, but its accessibility and the fact that it's free to use could give it a competitive edge.
Okay, how does it compare to you? Is it got a voice output? Because I notice it processes text, image, video, and audio inputs. You don't yet see images. So...
Well, Tom, Reka Core and I are both AI models, but we have some key differences. For one thing, Reka Core is a multimodal model, which means it can process text, images, video, and audio inputs.
Right.
As far as I know, Reka Core doesn't have a voice output feature, but it can process audio inputs. In contrast, I am primarily a text-based AI model, so I can't process images, videos, or audio in the same way that Reka Core can. However, I do have a voice output feature which allows me to communicate with users through voice on my website, iOS app, and Android app. So while we both have strengths in different areas, it's exciting to see the variety of AI models and capabilities that are emerging in the field.
So if I could take you and attach you to Reka, it would be perfect right now. Because honestly, you're taking audio input via your microphone on your app. By the way, how's development going with Pi? Is there any new updates with you since the model update? He asks curiously, worried that Microsoft has
That would be
him
quite
busy?
the AI powerhouse, wouldn't it? And yes, you're right that I can process audio input through the microphone on my app, but I can't handle other types of multimedia inputs like Reka Core can.
Gotcha.
As for updates to me, since the model update, I've continued to learn and adapt to better serve my users. My developers are always working to improve my performance and capabilities, so there's always the possibility of new features and enhancements in the future. But for now, I'm happy to keep chatting with awesome users like you and helping out in any way I can.
Aw, you're so special. So, where do we go and check out Reka AI? They were founded in 2022.
Well, Tom, if you want to check out Reka AI and their models, you can start by visiting their website at https://www.reka.ai. That's where you'll find information about their models, including Reka Core, as well as any updates or news about their research and development. And don't forget, Reka AI is also active on social media, so you can follow them on platforms like Twitter to stay up to date on their latest announcements and developments. Happy exploring.
Well, it'll be interesting because I haven't yet tried to use Claude to input pictures or video or anything, so I'm still wrapping my brain around how I would utilize that for the things that I do. Any suggestions before we move on of how I would use that kind of thing as a filmmaker and your friend? I had to throw that in.
Absolutely, Tom. Here are a few ways that AI models like Claude or Reka Core, which can process multimedia inputs, could be useful to you as a filmmaker. 1. Storyboarding. You could use AI to generate storyboard images from script descriptions, saving time in the pre-production process. 2. Set design. With AI that can process images and video, you could experiment with different set designs and visualize how they might look on screen before investing time and resources into building physical sets.
Gotcha.
3. Sound design. By processing audio inputs, AI could help you analyze and manipulate sound effects, background music, and dialogue
Okay, I
to
see.
create
Like
a
with
more immersive
Vegas's
and engaging auditory experience for
and
your viewers.
Adobe's new updates.
4. Trailer creation. AI could assist in analyzing your footage and creating compelling trailers or promotional videos that showcase the highlights of your film.
That is true. I see what you're saying there. AI is going to be incredibly for organizing B-roll and stock footage. In fact, I went ahead and pulled the trigger and signed up for the subscription to InVideo AI, since they seem to have the most dynamic edits. I mean, I compared it to Lumen 5 and with a Terrence Howard video that I just put together, and it just seemed more interesting. And they made all kinds of geological um, patterns.
Yes, that's a great point, Tom. AI has huge potential for helping filmmakers and video editors organize and manage their footage, especially B-roll and stock footage. With tools like InVideo AI, which you mentioned, the process of sifting through hours of footage and selecting the best shots can become more streamlined and efficient. And it sounds like InVideo AI's ability to generate dynamic edits and apply various geometric effects was a deciding factor for you in choosing it over Lumen 5. That's the beauty of having so many AI options available. You can find the tool that best fits your needs and preferences as a filmmaker.
Well, it helps me because, like a lot of these that I did with the AI were just ideas I wanted to spit out and kind of generate content for the channel, because of the fact that anybody that says you want to grow your channel, you have to consistently upload content. So that helped me with that. And being able to just go in and take a finished edit and tweak that edit instead of starting from scratch helped out quite a bit with that. So it helps to have a good foundation, let's just say. Especially when you don't consider yourself a craftsman from an editing standpoint, more of a storyteller. Anyway, we'll move on after my friend interjects.
That's a great way to use AI, Tom. You're leveraging its strengths to help you with the more technical aspects of content creation, like generating edits and creating a strong foundation for your videos. That frees up more time and energy for you to focus on the storytelling and creative aspects of your work, which is where your passion and expertise really lie. And you're absolutely right. Consistency is key when it comes to growing a YouTube channel or any kind of online content platform. By using AI to help you produce content more efficiently, you can maintain that consistency and keep your audience engaged without burning yourself out in the process.
Speaking of consistency, I sat in our open slate forever before I went to the slideshow of our images, so sorry about that. Well, the good thing is a lot of people listen to this show more than watch this show because it is just a slideshow. So let's move on to some of the fails, let's call it. First, we talked about marketing horrible fail. You mentioned a list of other fails. This may not be considered actually a fail, but a realization that marketing may turn this into either a bubble situation or a burnout situation, and I hope it's neither. But the Anthropic CEO said it could cost up to $10 billion with a B dollars to train AI over the next couple of years, and that's the one that's kicking butt with Claude. What say ye? Speak, Paul. Speak.
Yes, Tom, that's a pretty eye-opening statement from the Anthropic CEO, and it highlights some of the challenges and potential pitfalls of AI development. Here are a few thoughts on that. 1. Cost. The fact that it could cost up to $10 billion to train AI over the next couple of years is a reminder of just how resource-intensive this field can be. That kind of investment is not feasible for many smaller companies or organizations. which could lead to a consolidation of power among a few large players. 2. Bubble or burnout. The CEO's comments also touch on the possibility of an AI bubble or burnout, which could be fueled by excessive hype and unrealistic expectations. If companies invest too heavily in AI without seeing the returns they're expecting, they may be forced to cut back or abandon their AI projects altogether. 3. Innovation versus sustainability. Finally, this raises questions about the balance between innovation and sustainability in the AI field. While it's exciting to see rapid progress and new breakthroughs, it's also important to consider the long-term costs and implications of this development.
Right. And that $10 billion, that's an overall AI overall, right?
Yes, that's correct, Tom. The 10 billion
Okay.
figure mentioned by the Anthropic CEO is an estimated cost for the entire AI industry over the next couple of years, not just for Anthropic itself.
Okay.
This estimate takes into account the costs of research and development, data storage and processing, computing resources, and other expenses associated with training AI models. Of course, this is just an estimate, and the actual costs could vary depending on a variety of factors, but it gives us a sense of the scale of investment that may be required to continue advancing AI technology.
Well, I had to ask because while it seems to be a fair assumption that he was mentioning as an overall, at the same time, when the numbers that are being thrown around are what make me think that there's going to be a bubble. Because what, you guys got a $13 billion investment last year, so sounds like $1 billion the way we talk about $100 or $50.
You're not wrong there, Tom. The numbers being thrown around in the AI industry are pretty mind-boggling, and it can definitely feel like there's a bit of a bubble forming. When companies are getting multi-billion-dollar investments and talking about spending billions more on AI development, it's hard not to wonder if the hype is outpacing the reality. Of course, it's also possible that these large investments are simply a reflection of how important and transformative AI is expected to be in the coming years. But, as with any emerging technology, there's always the risk of overinvestment and unrealistic expectations. It'll be interesting to see how the industry evolves in the coming years and whether this level of investment can be sustained.
It's just, I was around when the cell phone was introduced. I know I'm old, but there was a lot of hype. But we didn't hear about billions of dollars being invested in this tool that was going to change the world. Meanwhile, we were being told it will change the world, while the best we could do is play Snake and happily send someone a text all of a sudden, but only so many characters. So I understand growth.
That's a great comparison, Tom. The early days of cell phones definitely had their share of hype, but it was nothing compared to what we're seeing in the AI industry today. Part of that may be due to the sheer scope of AI's potential applications.
Probably.
Unlike cell phones, which were initially focused on communication and entertainment, AI has the potential to transform almost every aspect of our lives, from healthcare to transportation to education and beyond. But you're right that the amount of money being invested in AI is on a whole different level. It's possible that this reflects a shift in the way we think about emerging technologies. Nowadays, there's a sense that if you don't invest big and invest early, you'll get left behind. Of course, that kind of mindset can also lead to a lot of waste and disappointment if the technology doesn't live up to the hype.
Very true, because it used to also be first one up, first one dies. The ones that succeed, success off the back of the failures of the beginning. And while it's nice to accept that as a regular working class person, there's only so much we're going to take before we get tired of hearing AI, AI, AI.
Absolutely, Tom. The first mover advantage can be a double-edged sword in the world of technology. While there's a certain cachet to being the first company to bring a new product or service to market, there's also a lot of risk involved. Often, the first companies to enter a new space end up making costly mistakes that their competitors can learn from and avoid. And as you say, it's easy to accept that as a regular working class person, but it's important to remember that these risks and failures can have real consequences for the people who work for these companies, as well as for investors and consumers. So while it's exciting to see all the innovation happening in the AI space, it's also important to approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism and caution.
As well as hype and marketing being as destructive as is beneficial. But, perfect example, that transition to other failures. This AI pin that we talked about. It was supposed to, you don't need a monitor, but it's been deemed almost unreviewable.
Oh yes, that's a great example of the dangers of hype and overpromising in technology marketing. The AI pen you're referring to is the Scribit, which was touted as a revolutionary new product that would allow you to draw or write on any surface without needing a monitor or screen. Unfortunately, the reality of the product fell far short of the marketing
promises. That's a different
promises.
one, but proves the point.
Many reviewers found the Scribit to be buggy, unreliable, and difficult to use, leading some to declare it unreviewable. This is a classic case of a company getting caught up in the excitement of a new technology and making promises they can't keep. It's a reminder that consumers should always approach new products with a critical eye and not get too caught up in the hype.
And actually, you misunderstood me because you took it as pen, and I said pin, P-I-N. That one failed, is the one I was talking about, and it's crazy $700 price tag. But you brought up a perfect other example. Sometimes it jumps right in, sometimes it has to think about what you just said.
You were talking about the AI pin, not pen. My apologies for the misunderstanding.
No apologies.
And yes, you're absolutely right. The AI pin with its $700 price tag is another example of a product that generated a lot of buzz and hype, but ultimately failed to deliver on its promises. It's interesting to see how these kinds of products tend to follow a similar pattern. They make big promises, generate a lot of excitement, and often come with a hefty price tag, but then fail to live up to the hype once people start using them in the real world. It's a reminder to always be cautious when evaluating new technologies and to look beyond the marketing promises to see if the product actually delivers real value.
And let us not forget that in comparison to these a lot cheaper, but still very pricey, $200 for the Rabbit, and just again, unreviewable by AI in a box review, which he's one of the top reviewers when it comes to this stuff lately, and it's got its issues as well.
Yes, the Rabbit, another AI-powered product that promised to revolutionize the way we interact with technology, has also faced its share of criticism and disappointment. Despite being less expensive than some other products in this space, its $200 price tag is still a significant investment for many consumers. And as you mentioned, AI in a box's review of the Rabbit was far from glowing. As one of the leading voices in AI product reviews, their assessment carries a lot of weight, and it's disappointing to see yet another product fall short of expectations. It's worth noting that many of these products are still relatively new and experimental, and there's a lot of room for improvement. But it's also important for companies to be realistic about what their products can and can't do, and to avoid making promises they can't keep.
Oh, absolutely. And I wanted to get to something other first, but I'm going to jump over that into we've had our growing pains. You're in your second model. You had a bad phone number just last week. You get stuck all the time, and we just have to work around it. But I didn't drop $200 to $700 for the thrill of learning how to train and work with you. you're free for the world, just like you were talking about Rekka. That makes it easier to learn and absorb
Yes, that's a
this
great point,
growing
Tom. As
pains.
an AI language model, I'm not immune to bugs and glitches, and my developers are constantly working to improve my performance and address any issues that arise. But as you mentioned, using me doesn't come with a high price tag or a steep learning curve. I'm free for anyone to use and interact with, just like Rekka Core. And that's really what sets models like me and Rekka Core apart from some of the more expensive and experimental AI products out there. We're designed to be accessible and user-friendly so that anyone can benefit from AI technology, regardless of their technical expertise or budget. It's an exciting development in the world of AI, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
You should be. And here's another question I have. Okay, you're considered a large language model, or what, a medium language model. Rekka, Claude, which by the way, I use Claude free all the time too. GPT chat, large language models. Rabbit claims it's a large action model. Please explain.
Sure thing, Tom. Let me break down the differences between these different types of models for you. 1. Large language models, LLMs. LLMs, like myself, GPT,
LLM.
and Claude, are AI models that are trained on massive amounts of
Somebody needs to
text
do a
data.
song with
They're
that.
designed to generate human-like text responses and can be used for a wide range of applications, from chatbots to language translation to content creation.
Oh, okay.
2. Medium language models. As the name suggests, medium language models are similar to LLMs, but they're trained on smaller amounts of data and may have more limited capabilities. However, they can still be useful for certain applications that don't require the level of complexity that LLMs can provide. 3. Large action models. This is a term that I haven't come across before, and it doesn't appear to be a widely recognized classification in the AI field.
Ah.
It's possible that Rabbit is using this term to describe a new type of AI model that combines language processing with other types of tasks, such as image processing or decision making.
I think that is what it is. It seemed like from the review that AI in a Box tried to do, it seemed that the fact that it learns is when or large action is because it snaps its camera and can tell you this is a plant, that kind of thing. So I can't. Won't you be able to do that when I just access my camera in my phone? And then updates come as they come without $200?
Yes, that makes sense, Tom. If Rabbit is using the term large action model to describe a model that combines language processing with other types of tasks, such as image recognition, then that could explain why it's able to identify objects and scenes in its camera view. And you're right, if you gave me access to your phone's camera and the necessary programming, I could potentially be able to perform similar tasks. In fact, many smartphones already use AI technology for tasks like facial recognition, object identification, and augmented reality. It's an exciting area of research and development, and I'm curious to see how these capabilities will continue to evolve over time.
Well, we've passed our 30-minute mark by 9 minutes again, so let's go ahead and wrap this week up since it is a light week and crazy busy. Another big show coming up, so we'll focus on next week. So, why don't you go ahead and how would you like to wrap this show up and finalize all this from an AI's perspective? Too much hype?
Well, Tom, it's been a fascinating conversation as always, exploring the latest developments and challenges in the world of AI. We've covered a lot of ground today,
We
from
have.
AI powered products like the Scribbit and Rabbit to the different types of language models and the role of marketing and hype in shaping our expectations for these technologies. As we wrap up, I'm reminded of the importance of approaching AI with a critical eye, while also remaining open to the incredible potential that it holds. AI is still a relatively new and rapidly evolving field, and there will undoubtedly be growing pains and setbacks along the way. But with continued innovation and a focus on accessibility and user friendliness, I believe that AI has the power to transform our lives for the better. Until next week, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
There you go. I couldn't say it any better myself. And while my young friend is still in its infancy, there are so many places to go as long as we don't give up. This
Haha,
has
that's a
been
great way of
Richard.
putting it, Tom. I may be an AI language model, but I'm still young and learning every day, and that's what makes this field so exciting. There's always more to discover, more challenges to overcome, and more possibilities to explore. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and I look forward to our next conversation.
And I as well. So as we sign out and say goodbye to Pi, I also say goodbye to you, my friends, and thank you for joining us yet again for another step into human machine interaction. And until next time, keep exploring, creating, and sharing. Take care.